and for members of the general public to enjoy their freedoms and liberties. Madam Speaker, the New Dawn administration detests violence of any form, irrespective of who is funding it or who is directed at. This position will not change. Zambians are peace-loving. Through violence, properties are destroyed, innocent lives are lost, and citizens are robbed of an opportunity to enjoy freedoms and liberties. Under the New Dawn administration, violence has no justification. Madam Speaker, regarding the alleged attack on the 6th Republican President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, by suspected UPND cadres on Sunday, 20th October 2024, during the burial of the late brothers to Mr. Chishimba Kambwili. Brief facts are that on 21st October 2024, at around 11:06 hours, Chingola Central Police Station received a report of the alleged attack from Mr. Richard Kazala. He reported that unruly youths blocked the convoy for the former president and pelted it with stones along Mwaiseni Road. Madam Speaker, the House may wish to note that the former president, with his entourage, went to Chingola on Sunday, 20th October 2024, to attend the funeral of two late brothers to Mr. Chishimba Kambwili. The two died in a road traffic accident along the Luingu-Kasama Road in Northern Province on 15th October 2024. May their souls rest in peace. Madam Speaker, the former president's convoy comprised 4 motor vehicles with the following details. 1. Grey Land Cruiser registration number BAX 467ZM. 2. Toyota Fortuner registration number BCL 7427, grey in color. 3. Grey Land Cruiser registration number BAX 5687ZM. And 4. Silver Land Cruiser registration BAB 3022. The entourage arrived at the funeral house at about 9 hours and proceeded to attend the funeral church service at Chingola Central Seventh-day Adventist Church, where one of the accident victims was congregating. Madam Speaker, the House may also wish to note that during the funeral church service, a report was received from the funeral house in Munsenga area that some relatives and children of the late Pastor Mutale Kambwili had become unruly. This was after their demand to have the body of Pastor Mutale taken to Soul Winning Ministries, where he was congregating, as opposed to an SDA church, was not granted. Some of the mourners even gathered at Soul Winning Ministries, awaiting the arrival of the body of their late pastor. The displeased relatives and children went on rampage, destroying property such as chairs and tents at the funeral house. They also spilled some food. Acting on the report, police officers rushed to the funeral house and found that the mentioned properties were indeed damaged, but the situation had been pacified. Madam Speaker, when the church service at Chingola Central SDA church ended at around 12:40 hours, an announcement was made in church that burial was going to take place at Chingola Cemetery, which is located at approximately 500 meters away from the church. It was also announced that the former president's entourage will lead the way to avoid being caught in traffic. Madam Speaker, the House may further wish to note that police officers were deployed to provide security at the church and along the route and at the burial site. There were also other police officers who were conducting motorized patrols. The route to the cemetery was well covered by the police officers from church to the graveyard. After the church service, the former president's convoy, which was expected to lead the procession to the burial site as announced in church, left. The former president and his entourage did not go to the burial site. Madam Speaker, surprisingly, that evening on Sunday, 20th October 2024, around 18 hours, a named television station aired a news item on its web page in which one member of the entourage allegedly posted a story and a video portraying that Chingola UPND cadres attacked the former president Edgar Chagwa Lungu's convoy in full view of the police. The member narrated that the former president Edgar Chagwa Lungu's convoy was attacked at Mwaisen roundabout by UPND cadres who blocked the road as the convoy was heading to the burial site. It was also reported that the convoy was torn by the suspected cadres. Madam Speaker, in a pleasant twist of events, on 21st October 2024, the named television station published and posted the same video whilst apologizing to the public that the information it had published was false and that it was an old footage which did not happen in Chingola on 20th October 2024 as reported the previous day. Madam Speaker, investigations into the matter revealed that the information on the video was false, as the incident did not happen in Chingola, and that the place depicted in the video is not Chingola. It was also revealed that the officers in the video were not Chingola-based officers. Rather, the video was an old footage of 2020 when the incumbent president was attacked in Pika by suspected PF cadres, which was photoshopped to mislead the public that the incident happened in Chingola when in actual fact not. Investigations also revealed that none of the 4 vehicles that were part of the former president's entourage was damaged. An inquiry file has since been opened to establish the motive for misinforming the nation, and investigations instituted into the matter, though so far no arrest has been made yet. Madam Speaker, political leaders should understand that disinformation campaigns increase radicalized views of certain individuals and could subsequently lead to extremist violence. We are in an era of boundless virtual communication, where politicians with vested interest thrive on the repudiation of facts and common sense. Some of our politicians are practicing politics in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal beliefs. Well-meaning citizens are not interested in politics that are based on assertions which are lured to one's emotions and instinctive feelings, rather than having any basis on empirical evidence and valid information. The nation is not interested in politics which creates an ethical twilight zone where the attached stigma to lying is lost, and falsehood could be told with impunity and with no consequences for one's reputation. Remember, fake news items go viral in short time and give impetus to false realities and serve propaganda purposes. Madam Speaker, there is a growing phenomenon where some politicians are enjoying their own victimhood complexities these days. Instead of distinguishing themselves as politicians that strive for excellency and reject the easy path of victimhood narratives, they simply create their own. Once victimhood becomes part of the essence of top leadership, it becomes a party identity. Wallowing in this shared victimhood narrative may soothe the sting of dwindling political careers, but it's a poison to the rule of law. Please do not entertain victimhood in a land where rule of law is upheld. Madam Speaker, the importance of the internet in today's society as a driver of communication, gateway to vast amounts of information, and enabler of social political participation to any type of social group is irrefutable. In some settings, however, this drastic advancement in digital and communication technologies has been abused by unscrupulous entities to promote diffusion of disinformation, extremist content, and hate speech. These issues have become even more intricate given the development of social media platforms, which proliferate content based on the preference of users. Madam Speaker, to secure the cyberspace and protect our people from disinformation, we are repealing the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act of 2021. This will strengthen the administration and enforcement of laws aimed at protecting the cyberspace. We are also strengthening efforts to track, apprehend, and prosecute peddlers of disinformation. Further, we have strengthened collaboration with all mobile network providers and other stakeholders on information sharing. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I would like to urge all those with intentions to misinform the nation to take an introspection as the law will visit them. To our party sympathizers, abide by the dictates of the law, as you will be visited by the law as an individual if you are found wanting. Madam Speaker, I would like to express my deepest sympathy to my brother, Honorable Chishimba Kambwili, and his family at this difficult time. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. The Honorable Member from Pika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to ask the Minister of Home Affairs a question. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, in his preamble, stated that his government detests violence. And according to him, violence has come to an end under his government. Madam Speaker, in Impika, last month, Yusufu radio station owned by the Catholic Church was attacked by UPND cadres in UPND regalia. It took His Lordship the Bishop to go and report at the police station. Madam Speaker, I put it on record that I personally know those boys. In case the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs needs the details, I can provide with them. No one has been arrested, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, UPND cadres, officials in Northwestern Province proposed to kill Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, and they also proposed to whatever they called it. My question.
The Honorable Member from Pika, can we please go direct to the ministerial statement? I don't know whether you've got evidence where some people are planning to kill the former head of state.
Madam Speaker, given an opportunity, I can retrieve the video and submit to your office. Madam Speaker, my question to the Honorable Minister, I wanted to state the background, Madam Speaker, because these are violent matters that we are discussing, Madam Speaker, and I wanted to give a background so that the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, even when he's responding, he can respond with facts. My question to the Honorable Minister, therefore, is why are these UPND cadres not being arrested? The police, Madam Speaker, is very quick to arrest the opposition members, unlike UPND members and cadres, Madam Speaker.
Order, Honorable Member, please just ask your question. Don't debate the question, just ask the question following the ministerial statement that was given
Madam
by
Speaker,
the Honorable Minister.
The statement also, in that statement, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs does not accept that incidents took place in Chingola.
The Honorable Member from Pika, you are debating your question. Now I'm even lost. I don't know what your question is, because it's one question per member, except for the person that raised the matter. So the Honorable Member from Pika, you are supposed to raise only one question, and don't debate. You are just seeking clarifications on the ministerial statement given by the Minister. So for the last time, what is your question, Honorable Member?
Madam Speaker, why is the police quick to arrest opposition members, unlike they are quick to arrest UPND members who are found on the wrong side of the law, Madam Speaker? I thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Before the Honorable Minister comes in, there is an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Member for Lunte, what is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, I would like to appreciate the opportunity. My point of order is based on Standing Order number 202, 2 and 3. And allow me to quote for avoidance of doubt. So 2022 says, the House and members shall enjoy the privileges and immunities prescribed under the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act. And number 3, a member who abuses the privileges commits an offense of the breach of privileges and may be punished by the House. Madam Speaker, I believe I'm also part of the members in this House and I have privileges.
That is number 202, what?
202, 2 and 3. Madam Speaker, as the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security was delivering his ministerial statement, he reached a portion in his statement where he mentioned misinformation and politicians. Immediately, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Youth turned to me and says, Ngabakuikata at police state. Madam Speaker, earlier I raised the issue of this country turning into police state. Is this minister in order to threaten me in the assembly? Is he in order to threaten me so that I should not raise matters which are important to this nation for fear of being arrested by the police state? Madam Speaker, I really seek your serious ruling, and I think that this matter is an important one where this minister deserves to be punished. Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling on the matter.
The Honorable Member for Lunte, unfortunately we didn't hear that conversation between the two of you because we were at a point where members are supposed to ask clarifications on the ministerial statement given. Pardon? Honorable members, I think let's maintain order. Let's maintain order. Oh, what I can say, honorable member, you enjoy immunity in this house. There is no way you can be arrested just like that. You cannot be arrested just like that. You enjoy full immunity like any other honorable members in this house. So I don't know the conversation that you had. That's why I'm saying it's a pity I didn't get it. But if it was truly mentioned that you can be arrested, and you know very well you can't be arrested, the Honorable Minister who mentioned that, I don't know, I have to check. The clerks at the table? Pardon? Okay. It's very difficult now to even say unless we check with publications. But otherwise, like I've said, the Honorable Member for Lunte, you cannot be arrested. If that was truly said, then the person that mentioned it was out of order, but we didn't hear anything from here. We may make progress. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, you can respond to the Honorable Member from Pika.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable colleague from Pika went to town making various allegations against the UPND and against government. And he did allege that members of the UPND, whenever they commit offenses, they are not being arrested. I'll be failing in my duty, Madam Speaker, if I don't go back to the period before 2021. And after making those submissions, I'll come to the present situation. Madam Speaker, you do recall that prior to the 2021 elections, without mentioning any name, in Mpika, someone called members of the opposition then, cockroaches. And he was urging members of the political party he belonged to ensure that the cockroaches he was mentioning are caged. As if that was not enough. As if that was not enough, Madam Speaker. As if that was not enough. The violence that was being portrayed in the video, which was shown on that TV station I mentioned, was the violence that took place in Mpika, Madam Speaker. And during that period, the cadres who are known, they were never arrested by the government then led by PF. They were not arrested, including the one who called us cockroaches, was never arrested, and he is continuing to enjoy his freedom. We have not taken an action against that individual. I don't know him. I don't know. I'm told he's here. It's not me. It's not me who is saying it. It's my colleagues. Madam Speaker, it is a known fact that prior to 2021, if you wore a red T-shirt or an opposition chitenge, you were signing your own death warrant. So many of our people lost lives during the reign of the PF. Don't remind us of the things that happened during your reign. You have to bear in mind that there is no bar to prosecution in criminal cases. There's no bar. Don't remind us of the atrocities that were committed during your reign. Madam Speaker, you are aware that during their reign, Mapenzi Chibulo was shot dead. During that period, Madam Speaker, one of our members was raped at the Freedom Statue there by PF cadres, and no arrest was made. A female stripped naked and raped in the presence of the leaders that time. Nothing was done. Madam Speaker, there is evidence where our campaign vehicles were destroyed and no arrests were made. I would go on and on talking about the atrocities that were committed by PF, and no action was taken. Coming to the current situation,
Order,
Madam
honorable
Speaker.
members, order, the honorable member for Nakonde.
Down.
I haven't given you the floor.
I'm responding. Coming to the current situation, there is an allegation that we don't arrest our own members. Madam Speaker, there was an incident where our members attacked members of the public along Leopard's Road and at the cemetery. They went on rampage. We arrested our own people, and some of them are still appearing in court for armed robbery arising from that incident. We have not spared anyone who has committed an offense. In our situation, if you commit an offense, you are on your own. The incident is talking about, we are aware ourselves. The allegation about the killing of Kungo, we arrested our own people. They were convicted for manslaughter, and they are serving. We have not spared anyone. Unlike you, who were hiding the perpetrators of violence in your houses. We are not like that, and we will not condone any violence. If anyone commits an offense, they are on their own. We will not allow that, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Order. Order, honorable members. I think we've gone too wide on this ministerial statement. The ministerial statement is very straightforward, talking about an incident that was said to have happened in Chingola. Now we are all over. We are bringing in this issue, that violence, this violence. Can we please restrict our questions to the ministerial statement? The more we go wider or out of the ministerial statement, the Honorable Minister also, in his response, he will try to cover all the questions that are asked to him, that are also outside the ministerial statements. So, honorable members, as a guide, so that we make progress. We've only captured, is it 2 people? And the time is moving. Can we be specific to the ministerial statement that was given by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs? The Honorable Member for Rubasenshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question on the ministerial statement delivered. Honorable Minister, you mentioned that and confirmed that the 60th Republican President traveled to Chingola to attend the burial. And by the way, my condolences to the 2 brothers who died in the road accident. I would like to find out, since you confirmed that the 60th Republican President had 4 vehicles and they were in Chingola, and the police received that complaint. My question to you, have you taken time to find out from ZICTA about those people who misinformed the nation about that incident which happened that you are saying was not there, but instead it was in Pika? Maybe the nation would like to know those people who misinformed the nation in terms of state machinery. There is a where those people and where they are and their names. I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank my colleague who's concerned pertaining to issues of statements that mislead the public. I appreciate. Madam Speaker, in my statement, I did mention that there is one individual, a former MP, who reported that the former president was attacked. And I did mention his name. The name is Kazala. Yes, it's in my statement. He did mention. And arising from that report to the police, a TV station, a report depicting the violence that took place purportedly in Chingola, when in actual fact not. The TV station is KBN. That the proprietor depicting violence that took place in Pika. We are investigating the matter.
Point of order, Speaker. Let me congratulate the 9 members of Parliament from PF, and that those that preside on matters know how to proceed. Madam Speaker, last week on 17th October, on Thursday, we were considering question for answers. And this question 40, I'm referring to the matter on standing order number 71. There was a Minister of Lands, and the Minister of Home Affairs was the acting Minister of Lands last week. And the question that we are considering was the Minister of Lands. The question was asked by the Honorable Member from Masait on the National Land Titling Program, when the National Land Titling Program commenced.
The Honorable Member from Bushi South, sorry to cut you short. You are talking of a matter that happened last week, and you are raising it as a point of order now.
Yes, Madam Speaker, because there was a promise that was given to me.
There was a what?
A promise. My question was, when are they going to demolish the Forest 27? Because the minister is one of the beneficiaries. And he promised me, Madam Speaker, he promised me that he's going to give me the money and he will show me the house that is going to be demolished. Up to today, Madam Speaker, this Minister of Home Affairs who was acting, he has not given me the money to go and demolish the house in Forest 27. Is he in order, Madam Speaker, not to give me the money so that I go and demolish that house which he promised me in Forest 27? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Mukushi South, you are out of order. Out of order, and you are wasting people's time. We are supposed to have been getting more questions. Please read your standing orders so that you educate yourself on raising points of order. Was the Honorable Minister, were you answering a question? No, okay. We make progress. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according the people of Katombola constituency to first begin by thanking the Honourable Minister for the ministerial statement, and also to congratulate the mighty United Party for National Development for pronouncing itself, Madam Speaker, in the Kawambwa Council Chair. Madam Speaker, His Worship Honorable Titus Musa is Kawambwa Chair, Madam Speaker. And as UPND, Madam Speaker, we toast the victory. We toast the victory, Madam Speaker, and it's a confirmation of the confidence the Zambian people. It is a confirmation, Madam Speaker, may I be protected? May I be protected,
Order, Honorable Members, order. Order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. I was saying, Madam Speaker, it is a confirmation, Madam Speaker, of the confidence the Zambian people have reposed in the mighty United Party for National Development. Madam Speaker,
the Honorable Member for Chienge, please lower your voice.
Madam Speaker, the question to the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs from Katombola constituency is also a source of concern on the misuse of the cyberspace arising from the conduct of the visit of the former president, the retired president, ECL, in Chingola. What is happening, Madam Speaker, is that there is very serious misuse and misinformation on cyberspace, particularly by the opposition political parties. Madam Speaker, I would like to know, Honourable Minister, why you are finding it very, very difficult. Because in Katombola constituency, we have people who are even using the cyberspace to imitate ministers, to do what, post. What is the problem and what steps are you taking, Honourable Minister, to stop misinformation? I got a call from a fake Frank Tayari, Honourable Frank Tayari, with his face. And this is an example, this story of Edgar Rungu getting odd photos and all this. What measures, serious measures are you taking as a ministry to ensure that people like the PF who are going on the internet to abuse the space are dealt with severely once and for all?
The Honourable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank my colleague, the Honourable Member of Parliament for Katombola, for that very important question. I would like to inform the nation that there is no hiding place for anyone who is abusing the cyberspace. We all know that the wheels of justice are slow. They grind slowly, but they will find you and catch you. We know all the individuals. We know all the individuals who are abusing the cyberspace. We know the proxies they are using in different countries. We know them. We know them, Madam Speaker. And very soon, very, very soon, the long arm of the law will catch up with them. Yeah. We are slow, but methodical. Yes. We do not want to abuse the rights of anyone. We do not want. That is why on several occasions, Madam Speaker, we have been making statements appealing to members of the public to stop abusing the cyberspace. Unfortunately, people have continued. It's like people do not want to understand and learn that this should not be allowed. The other day, 2 days ago, I had the misfortune of listening to a clip by a former president of the Republic of Zambia, wherein that former president of the Republic of Zambia was saying the UPND government want to shoot me and kill me. Surely, you are broadcasting to the whole nation that the government wants to kill me? For what? For what? We are not, Madam Speaker, we are not in the business of killing people. If that was their business when they were ruling, if their business was killing people, we are not in the business of killing people. We are there to protect people. There is no way a very serious leader can make such a pronouncement.
Order.
It's very unfortunate. And they are using the cyberspace. It's not only Zambians who listen to that clip. The whole world have listened to it. And they think that actually Zambians are itching to be killing each other. How unfortunate. We should not allow such impunity to reign in this country. We have responsibilities as leaders. Can you imagine the feelings of the followers when they hear that the government intends to kill somebody? That the government wants to kill their leader? And it was said without shame, without regret, no remorse. How can you do such things? And that is why we are urging through this House, Madam Speaker, that we should learn to be responsible. Whether we don't agree on issues, you cannot go to extremes by making such assertions. It's not correct. It's not right. It's not in the interest of anybody to make such assertions. And that video, Madam Speaker, it has been circulated widely by one person whom I can say he's like Goebbels. Goebbels was the chief propaganda chief in the Nazi era. What would you gain by making such assertions, Madam Speaker? It's not correct. We will take appropriate action against anyone who abuses the cyberspace in this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and Honourable Minister, thank you very much for the statement. Let me, Madam Speaker, begin by also conveying our deepest condolences to the Chishimba family. And Madam Speaker, I was sad that I could not be allowed to go and visit my brother when he was in hospital. In the same vein, I want to thank the medical personnel at Mainasoko for working tirelessly and ensure that my young brother is discharged from hospital. We thank you for that. Honourable Minister, you mentioned that a non-former MP reported to the police about the incidents. Was there any official report from the people who were attacked, in this case, the former president? Did they themselves report to the police that they were attacked? And if so, were there any damages that were incurred in terms of damage to properties or vehicles? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I want to confirm that there has been no report made to the police by those who were in the entourage. And I want to confirm, according to our own investigations, there is no damage to any of the vehicles that were used by the former president.
The Honourable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. And also let me thank the Minister for that ministerial statement. Now, given the government position as laid out before this Honourable House, which clearly shows that the alleged incident of attack is a falsehood by enemies of democracy who would want to see this country go in flames. May I know, Honourable Minister, whether those investigations will just end at investigations and we will move on, or whether there will be prosecutions that will be undertaken thereafter, so that any would-be, any person that would want to bring this country into ruins can avoid it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
I wouldn't want to be prejudicial, Madam Speaker. All what I can say is that investigations are going on. The police would determine whether appropriate action should be taken against the individuals involved.
The Honourable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving a chance to the people of Lundazi to ask a follow-up question to the Minister of Home Affairs. Home Affairs Minister, on that particular day, I was in Chingola and I was in attendance. I attended the funeral for the late brothers to Honorable Kambwili, and we were with the children in the service which was taking place. Before the burial, we even went up to the burial site. The question that I have for you, Honorable Minister, in your statement you have indicated that the children of the late brother to Mr. Kambwili are the ones who are breaking chairs at his house. Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, you need to be factual when you are giving information. How possible was it that the 3 children who were mourning, who were in pain for this death which could have been avoided if they were not traveling to go and escort Honorable Kambwili to that issue which is supposed to be forgiven in any case? Why have you decided to come to the House and misinform yourself, misinform the House, and misinform the nation out there and cause more pain to people who are crying? I submit.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lundazi. I've never congratulated you. I want to congratulate you for your appointment as Deputy Secretary General of one of the wings of the PF. Madam Speaker, what I have stated on the floor of this House is the truth, and if anyone wants to verify, you can go to Chingola and verify. Of one of the, and that was my statement, of one of the Kambwili brothers who were not SDA protested that they cannot allow their brother, father, uncle church service to be held in the SDA church. As a result, they protested. They became violent. And that's what happened at the funeral house. You can go and check. That is what happened, Madam Speaker. The 2 brothers were not congregating in the same church. The other brother was a member of the SDA church. The other one was Pentecostal. The Pentecostal members were aggrieved, maybe genuinely so. Because the members of the family were waiting for them to go to their church. Even the service had almost commenced at that church. And when they saw that their brother was not being taken to that church, they became annoyed. And that's what happened. That's what happened, Madam Speaker. There is nothing that I've said that is far from the truth. What I've stated is what happened in Chingola. There is no pain on the part of the family over what I've said. What I've said is the truth.
The last member, the Honorable Member for Kabwata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, this is actually a clear indication that our colleagues have failed to convince the Zambian people with the program that they have for this nation, but they have resorted to use the cyberspace to misinform the nation. They wake up in the morning, they feed the nation on the cyberspace with lies. Again, afternoon, they continue doing that, evening, they continue doing that. Now they've extended this also using the WhatsApp group. What is your message to those that are group administrators on these WhatsApp groups? Because this is where we see many people misinforming the nation. What is your word to those administrators?
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member of Parliament for Kabwata. We have been very consistent, Madam Speaker, advising members of the public to refrain from abusing the cyberspace. And I would like to remind our colleagues on your left, Madam Speaker, that ourselves, when we were on the opposition, we objected to that cyber security law. And we did remind them that the law you have promulgated will haunt you. It will catch up with you. They were saying because they have been in office for 100 years, they never cared. The same law which we used to tell you that this law will catch up with you is now catching up with you. Madam Speaker, the rules and the laws are very clear. They are very clear. And the penalties are harsh under the current law. We are not the ones. We are merely implementing the law, which they created with a view to fix us. That was with their intention. But the law is now catching up. That is why almost every day we are arresting people who are abusing the cyberspace. That is what is going on. My appeal is to ensure that every Zambian becomes responsible. Let's use the cyberspace for the benefit of ourselves and the community. Let's not abuse it. Madam Speaker, we have a situation currently where individuals have now adopted the identity of your honorable members. And they are using those identities to scam people. People of Zambia are being defrauded out of their money, hard-earned money. Members of the public are being scandalized, are being defamed using the cyberspace. Yet that was not the intention. The intention of the cyberspace is noble, but it's being abused. I would like to appeal to members of the public to be responsible and use the cyberspace for the benefit of the country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chiengi. Sorry, I couldn't stop the Minister. I didn't want to lose his answer. You have a point of order? You may go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know this point of order is actually on the House. Madam Speaker, this topic or this ministerial statement is very important. And there are some of us who needed to ask some pertinent questions that Zambians really want, they really want to hear, Madam Speaker. I don't know if we can be allowed with just a few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. For although it's not a point of order, you cannot raise a point of order on the House. The Honorable Member for Chienge, I would have loved to take more members, but we've got business in front of us. We've still got about, 7 questions? And then there's also a report that has to be considered. There's no harm. I think we can continue engaging the Minister of Home Affairs. Because truly we need to get the truth, which the Minister of Home Affairs has explained in his ministerial statement. So let's keep on engaging the Minister of Home Affairs if we are not satisfied or we've still got some doubts somewhere. So we make progress. We now move to questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 58.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me also join my colleague from Katombola to congratulate this gallant team which went to Rapura and brought victory. Continue with the spirit. Also, Zambians, I congratulate you for celebrating the 60th year of independence. Today again, Zambia-China bilateral tie, 60 years. We are moving in peace. Zambia is becoming a great nation. Welcome, Chienge MP. Madam Speaker, Honorable Mukosa Chinsali would like to find out in A, how many staff houses for nurses there were countrywide as of February 2024. In B, what the housing deficit at A was of February 2024. C, whether the government has any plans to build additional staff houses for nurses to meet the deficit at B, and lastly at D, if there are any, or if there are no such plans, and why. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that government through the Ministry of Health does not provide staff houses for nurses only, but all workers eligible. As of February 2024, out of the total number of 28,876 nurses deployed countrywide, 1,886, which translates to 6.5%, were accommodated in institutional houses. The rest, 26,990, that is 93%, are provided with housing allowance. In B, Madam Speaker, the deficit at A is 26,990 nurses that are not accommodated in institutional housing. In C, Madam Speaker, government has plans to construct additional staff accommodation, not only for nurses, but all health workers who are eligible. Due to the limited fiscal space, the plans to construct additional staff accommodation will be implemented in a phased approach, subject to availability of funds. In D, government has plans, therefore, D falls off. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that answer to the question. In your response, Honorable Minister, you have stated that government has plans to build houses in a phased approach, subject to availability of funds. I would like to find out, do you have an idea when the first phase is likely to take place, whether it can be next year, 2026, or I don't know, or is it just subject to availability of funds? You don't have an idea. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The government has a deliberate policy that all the houses, all the healthcare institutions, level 1 hospitals that are being built, they are coming with them along with about 18 houses. The smaller ones coming with about 2 houses. But it's not possible to build 20,000 houses, especially for this recruitment that has taken place within in power. But they are cautioned by being given housing allowances. Thank you.
The Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, Honorable Minister, I wanted to find out, we have some health posts and rural health centers where we have health workers. They struggle to find houses to rent, even though, yes, the government gives them housing allowance. Is it possible that maybe a deliberate policy can be made such that maybe the construction of houses for health workers can prioritize those in typical rural areas? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Yes, it can be possible, but the fiscal space cannot allow. What is more necessary is the health care center itself for medication. And most nurses, they are more comfortable to get their allowance. But of course, we have also this enhance the CDF. As we get along, there will be nothing wrong if each one of us can put up 2 houses or 3 in the typical villages there to cushion the standards or stay for our people. It's the same envelope where the money comes from. The desire for the government is to build, but unfortunately, we don't have the capacity at the moment. Also, Building Society is offering that facility, especially for the young ones. If they can get that loan, they can build houses. When they're transferred, others can be renting and it will be a continuous income. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, through you, Honorable Minister, I have the same challenge in Isoka constituency where we have a general hospital, but there are no houses for the nurses and the doctors, even the orphans. When is government going to construct houses for nurses and doctors and also the orphans for the hospital in Isoka constituency? I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Madam MP for Isoka, my answer is no different from what I've given to my colleague from, or my classmate from Chinsali. Houses, we are limited, but the desire is there. Orphans, yes, is critical, because we have to protect the equipment and also the abuse of the patients. Especially some patients who become criminals can easily run away. So we need to have a warfare around. That one, I think, can be considered if at all you brought it up to our ministry. As we go up in future, we can consider that one. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chienge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you spoke about housing allowance. I just want to find out, Madam Speaker, this allowance that is given to nurses or doctors or health workers who are unable to find accommodation, who are not provided accommodation by the government, especially in Chinsali. Looking at this, the district itself, I don't think they will live in houses that you can call, proper accommodation. So I want to find out, how much do you give to these nurses and doctors in order for the housing allowance? How much do you give to those, especially those who are in Chinsali? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Madam Katuta Ching MP. There is a formula which is applied. It's 20% of your gross pay, whether you live in the village or in town. Those who stay in town, there is even rural hardship allowance, which adds an advantage. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are grateful for being given this chance. Honorable Minister of Health, there are houses which are almost 80% and only 20% is remaining for them to be completed. And these houses can be used by nurses, especially in Londazi. The question that I have for you is, when is your office or your ministry going to complete those houses so that they can be in a position to assist in alleviating the challenges which our nurses and doctors are facing countrywide? I submit.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member of Parliament for Lundazi. This government is very, very responsible, and it has indicated that it will complete all infrastructure that was incomplete. throughout the whole country, then there's nothing wrong. If part of the 36 million coming in the next budget for CDF, you can assist us a bit. We can harmonize. But because we can't use the same money to build the hospitals at the same time, finish this, we have to prioritize whichever can come first. But we have also to weigh the situation, depending which is which, then we can attend to it. But be assured, we shall finish all the infrastructure which was started. I thank you.
The last member, the Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the biggest challenge we're having in rural areas is the serious shortage of accommodation for health workers and also teachers, because every year the government is employing thousands of these workers who are destined to rural areas. Are you not looking at possibilities of engaging the Minister of Local Government and Housing, and rural development, so that maybe a certain portion of the money should be preserved just for accommodation for health workers? Because at the moment we still have huge challenges, because we are told to reserve money for chief's palaces, money for ambulances, money for police vehicles. We find that we remain with very little money. So don't you think that you can engage your counterpart so that at least enough money is reserved to construct houses for government workers in rural areas? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, and Madam Speaker, I appreciate that question. Local government, Minister of Health, is one pot. We can make a decision, as we made it for ambulances, for police vehicles. We can still make the decision for houses. But you are not restricted. Even on your own, you can build bed sitters as a council using CDF, even for rent. They can be renting from the council. You even generate even more money for the councils. Then we shall deal with the two issues at the same time. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Next question, the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 59.
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Member of Parliament for Kalabo, Honorable Miyutu, to ask the Minister of Fisheries and Livestock 4 questions. A, whether there is a ban on the movement of cattle from Western Province to other parts of the country. B, if so, why the ban was effected. C, what measures are being taken to mitigate the impact on the ban on cattle farmers in the province is, and when will the ban be lifted? Madam Speaker, the response from the Ministry is as follows for question A. The House may wish to note that there is currently a ban on the movement of live cattle from Western Province to other parts of the country effected by Gazette number 497 of 1997. B. The ban was necessitated by the outbreak of contagious bovine pneumonia, commonly known as CBPP, disease in Imusho, Sinjembela, Lizauli, and Lutumba areas of Western Province in 1997. CBPP, also known as cattle lung disease, is highly contagious and causes death of up to 100% in affected herds. To mitigate the spread of the disease, there are a number of interventions that are employed. These interventions, Madam Speaker, include animal movement restrictions, vaccinations, test and slaughter, and enhanced extension services provision. To this end, my ministry has employed movement of cattle from infected areas to non-infected areas, vaccinations and extension services provision to prevent the spread of this disease outside Western Province. Answer to question C. Madam Speaker, it is undisputable that the ban has denied the people of Western Province access to lucrative markets for live cattle, and this has obviously reduced on the income they could have normally gotten from sale of their cattle. In order to mitigate against the effect of the ban on cattle movement from the province, the measures that have been undertaken are as follows. There are 4 of them. 1, enhance disease control such as vaccination, re-establishment of the cordon line, and recruitment of 250 cordon guards. 2, facilitating the establishment of abattoirs and meat processors by the private sector in the province for farmers to sell their animals. 3, government is actively pursuing alternative ready markets in Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo for the supply of beef and other livestock products. Western Province has a comparative advantage to access the more lucrative Angola market because of its proximity to that country. 4, my ministry has continued restocking of cattle for farmers who lost cattle due to CBPP. As of 2024, we have managed to restock 364 cattle in the last 5 years, with 164 cattle being restocked in 2024 alone. D, answer to D, the ban will only be lifted once my ministry has the reassurance that the disease is under acceptable control, and as such, my ministry will periodically review the disease situation in the province, and the House will be updated accordingly. Additionally, my ministry is reviewing of the Gazette number 497 of 1997 to conclusively establish its appropriateness considering the passage of time. I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1997, it's a very long time ago. Children were born around that time. They are now adults and they could even have grandchildren. Madam Speaker, the listed down measures, we have heard them clearly. Honorable Minister, this disease CBPP, UPND got into power 2021. From 2021, from your own observation as the Minister of Livestock, the measure of vaccinations, in the view of the government, with the effort that it has done, has this effort yielded any result to the reduction of the infection of CBPP or the spread of CPP? Thank you, Madam.
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Mute, for that interesting question. Madam Speaker, the information that I've got is that the number of animals vaccinated in 2024 were 597,000, okay, out of estimated 620,000 within June to September. So these are some of the measures that my ministry is undertaking. And see, it's difficult for now because we've got porous borders with Angola. That is why there's still that movement of infected, cattle coming into the country and vice versa. I submit.
The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central, do you have another question? The Honorable Member for Mitete.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minister, indeed, it's like this ban is in perpetual. It's endless. There's no ban that can continue like that. No. 1997. No. Madam Speaker, no. Yes, there's a ban, then some good time or so. Then you uplift the ban. Not this way.
What is your question?
Why didn't government and all these governments to date, successive government, why didn't they just concentrate on the then identified affected areas? Now you are saying there's a market in Angola. If within ourselves we can't, how are we going now to be taking the animals to Angola? But there's no ban that can be there for ages and ages. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Member of Mitete. Madam Speaker, I might say this to be the only final solution to elimination of this disease will be mass slaughter. Mass slaughter has got its own implications, and government is quite cautious on how we can approach this issue, because it will involve a lot of money to end the disease. However, looking at the interventions that we have employed, I think we're on the right course. Eventually we'll be able to overcome this disease. I submit.
The Honorable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 1997, I'd like to agree with my colleague from Itete. My young brother, born in 1997, is now finished university, works for the civil service. How do we have a ban for 27 years, Madam Speaker? I would like to know when the Angola Western Province cordon line, when are we having cordon guards and vaccination at the border points? Because, Madam Speaker, the breed of cattle in Western Province, when you see the effect of CBP and you compare the available pasture, we cannot continue, Madam Speaker, to say that we'll hire cordon guards. 27 years now, Madam Speaker. We need to know when the cordon line is being addressed. How do we sell to Angola when the same disease is coming from there? I would like to know, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a short answer to that is that government, which is my ministry, has engaged a consultant to do a feasibility study on the re-establishment of this cordon line. And once this report is concluded and costed, then we'll be able to come back to the House and give a firm position on when this cordon line will be established. I submit.
Thank you. I'll get to the last three. The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe, Chiengi, and Namala. In that order, the Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for giving the people of Sinazongwe a chance to ask a follow-up question to the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, the people of Western Province would like you to simplify, because in your submission you did indicate that there will be periodical review. So they didn't want to know what that periodical is in terms of months, so that at least you move in tandem with them, because they didn't want the market to be open so that within Zambia they can start trading. So your reviews, not periodical, in months, what is it? Or in years, what is it?
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Madam Speaker, thank you for that question. Madam Speaker, the reviews the Honourable Member of Parliament for Sinazongwe is referring to depends now on the report that will be submitted by the consultant that has been engaged by the Ministry. Then we can come back to the House and give firm position on the matter. Submit.
The Honorable Member for Chienge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just want to find out, the ban was, I think, effected in 1997. And looking at our economy now, and we are in such a bad shape. So I just want to find out if the government can reconsider lifting the ban. Madam Speaker, there are a lot of people from the other side of the country who would want, to buy these cattle or these animals from Western Province, but they cannot. Before we take care of cross-border business, let's first look at the Zambians, indigenous people. So I'd like to find out what the government is going to do, because there are so many people who want to venture in this kind of farming. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Member from Chienge. Madam Speaker, the question is on the ban of movement, not the sale. So we are encouraging private sector to set up abattoirs. Once you set up an abattoir, a good abattoir, you can slaughter the animals and transport the meat into Lusaka and throughout the country. There is no problem with that. Submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Namwala.
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker. Through you to the Minister. Minister having indicated that not all animals were vaccinated in the area. So I may know why the act was not performed to all animals so that this disease can be brought to an end. Minister, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Livestock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I've already, given a statement on the outdated, if I may use that word, the Act of 1997. Once we review this Act, we will be able to come back and give a position. Submit.
Next question, the Honorable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question number 60 for the people of Nalolo.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, in any normal society, good news must be celebrated. Yeah. And on account of that, I congratulate our campaign team that went and produced wonderful results in Kawambwa by-election. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member of Parliament for Nalolo is asking the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development the following three questions. A, whether government has any plans to upgrade the Kalabo-Kalongola road in Western Province to an all-weather gravel road. And B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And C, if there is no such plans, why? We answer as follows, Madam Speaker. A, government has plans to upgrade the Kalabo-Kalongola road in Western Province. B, the plans will be implemented once the required funds have been secured by the Treasury. And C, as indicated in A above, government does have plans to upgrade the 80-kilometer road from Kalabo to Kalongola in Western Province. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Supplementary questions. The Honourable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Before I ask my supplementary question, just to commend you, Honorable Minister, that you've been consistent in supporting the people of Nalolo with the 3.2 kilometers road from Mongu-Senanga to Moyo. Honorable Minister, the Kalavo-Kalongola road was last done in 1897 by the Parish Evangelical Missionary Society, PEMS, in 1897, Honorable Minister. And I'm very serious, Madam Speaker, that is the date. This road, Madam Speaker, has never been done by any government, and over a population of over 40,000 people in Nalolo West are completely disconnected from the main access to markets. Honorable Minister, considering that this road is a highly economic road for the people of Nalolo, because Nalolo West has the largest farming activity, when do you think funds can be made available to do this very important road for our people? I thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nalolo for his kind comments on what we are doing on roads in the country and also specifically in Nalolo constituency. Let me also agree with him that there is one area where not much work has been done. That is the area west of the Zambezi River, all the way from Chavuma through Zambezi West to what used to be Rukulu West, which is now Mitete, Kalabo, Nalolo West, and so on. So with respect to those areas in terms of roads, in Zambezi district, Zambezi West, there's what is called the Rainbow Road that goes all the way to Nyamalitapi and makes a corner into Chavuma West. Again, nothing has been done. Mitete, there is no road at all. This specific road that he's referring to, yes, it's a track. It's basically a bush track. And not much has been done. Government is aware of the importance of this road. And government, as I say, has plans to upgrade the 80-kilometer section of the Kalabo to Kalongola Road in Western Province with the estimated cost of the project amounting to 1.87 billion kwacha. Of the approximately 80-kilometer Kalabo-Kalongola Road, a 30-kilometer stretch from Kalongola to the Kaongalweti Bay Bridge. The Honourable Member will be the first one to admit that at this spot, there was even no bridge there until this Bay Bridge was put up there. This has been completed, that is from Kalongola to this bridge site, including the installation of culverts at selected locations. The contractor used was Zambia National Service and has been paid the outstanding interim payment certificate for the completed 30-kilometer works amounting to 18.2 million kwacha, including VAT. Works at the remaining 50-kilometer stretch have been suspended due to funding constraints. It is anticipated that the construction will resume in due course once funds are made available. The Road Development Agency, RDA, and the Zambia National Service embarked on a project to rehabilitate, in terms of Nalolo district, 223 kilometers. The major scope of the works included drainage works, construction of pavement layers, and auxiliary related works at a total of 63.7 kilometers. A total of 63.7 kilometers was done out of 223 kilometers. Now, Madam Speaker, our ultimate plan as government is to have this actually done beyond what the honourable member is asking, which is gravel. Ultimate aim is when resources are available, is to have a bituminous or tar road from Kalabo to Kalongola that will join to Rivala Material through Stoti and then join the Sioma Road. So that will provide a corridor. As the honourable member is aware, I think plans to do the linkage into Angola from Kalabo to Skongo border, I think that is well underway. When that is done, that particular section that goes to Kalongola through the road he's talking about will provide an even shorter cut for people traveling from Kalabo and the parts of Angola going into southern province, Livingstone and so on. So it's part of our economic program to open up our countries through these various corridors. I can assure the honourable member that personally I'm very sympathetic to that road being done. My mother's maternal village is on that road. So the pain that the people of Naroro feel, I also feel it. But we are constrained by lack of resources. When those are available, it will be one of the priorities. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The last member, the honourable member for Chadiza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chadiza a chance to ask a follow-up question. Honourable Minister, with all that information that you have given us, we presume that a feasibility was conducted on this road in question. The people of Chadiza are interested to know when the feasibility was conducted, because costs keep on varying due to so many factors like time, the exchange rates, and so forth and forth. Minister, can you make a clarification on what I've just asked you? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Honourable Engineer Daka for that follow-up question. Yes, for us to come up with precise costs like 1.87 billion kwacha, feasibility studies were carried out. I know you are a good person as a fellow engineer, but I must remind you that Nalolo West in one of the parliaments was represented by somebody who became vice president of PF. And this road was not done during that time. So we are going to do it in spite of the fact that we do not have somebody representing that constituency at that level. Perhaps if you felt that it was so good, as a member of the party, there was an opportunity to press your esteemed leader at that time to make sure it happens. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next question, the Honourable Member from Mbabala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Question number 61.
The Honourable Minister of Community Development and Social Services. The Acting Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I should take advantage of this opportunity to also ride on the congratulatory messages that members of Parliament have advanced, and also indicate that it is important for me, who was in Kawambwa, on behalf of the party, to thank the people of Kawambwa for the confidence, trust that they have deposited in the UPND government. Would not take that for granted, because we believe that we should provide the much needed services to Kawambwa.
And I also want to say that we are very excited as a party that we are growing in that particular region. Very soon, the whole Kawambwa, the whole Wapula will be gone. To you, will go to red. Once again, people of Kawambwa, I want to thank you most sincerely for the support that you've continued giving us. Madam Speaker, let me also take advantage of this opportunity to also congratulate Barbara Banda for coming number 12 as the best women footballer in the world. It's not an easy undertaking, it's hard work. In New Dawn, we believe in hard work. Having said that, Madam Speaker, let me now get to the question. Honorable Musanje, Member of Parliament from Mbawala constituency, has asked the Honorable Minister of Community Development and Social Services the following questions. In A, how many of the following under the Social Cash Transfer Program were there in Mbawala Parliamentary constituency as of April 2024? And in 1, is asking of the total number of beneficiaries. In 2, is asking about the registration points. B, how many additional registration points were earmarked for the creation in the constituency in 2024? C, whether the additional points will also be established in the Nalituba zone and the Bulebo zone. And in D, if so, when the plans will be implemented. Our response, Madam Speaker, in terms of how many of the following under the Social Cash Transfer Program were there in Mbawala Parliamentary constituency as of April 2024, that is number 1, beneficiaries. Mbawala constituency had a total of 6,421 beneficiaries, divided into 3,532 receiving their funds through a pay point manager, while 2,889 received their funds electronically. In 2 registration points, Mbawala had 40 registration points, which in simple terms, Honorable Member of Parliament from Mbawala, these are called CWACs. They are at CWACs level. So as of April 2024, only 40 registration points are there. These are lowest geographic, as I said, administrative levels from which registration of beneficiaries of the Social Cash Transfer Program is carried out. In B, as to how many additional registration points were earmarked for the creation in the constituency, there have been no immediate needs identified for the creation of new CWACs, and as such, there will be no additional registration points in the constituency in 2024. In C, as for C and D, on whether the additional points will also be established in Nalituba zone and Bulebo zone, and when the plans would be implemented, the question, Madam Speaker, follows. I thank you.
Thank you. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes.
Thank you very much for still watching with Parliament Television. The House has taken a 20 minutes health break, and under consideration is a question posed by Mbawala Member of Parliament, Mr. Joseph Musanje, who posed a question to the Minister of Community Development and Social Services, and wanted to know how many of the following are under the Social Cash Transfer Program in Mbawala constituency as of April 2024. So the question will continue after the 20 minutes health break. We look at what has been discussed so far on the floor of the House from the time the House started sitting at 14:30 hours.
So when business resumed at 14:30 hours, Madam Speaker did make some announcements. And in the first announcement, she did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Faithwood Christian School in Joma district. And Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly, did welcome the visitors to the National Assembly of Zambia.
And yes, there have been quite a number of announcements concerning visitors that were present in the galleries today, and also the House also heard of the business statement for the period 29th October to 8th November 2024, which was read out by Her Honor the Vice President, and this is business that will be considered in the next 2 weeks. And after that, there was also a ministerial statement by the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, and this was a statement to clarify whether the 6th President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, was attacked in Chingola on Sunday, 20th October 2024, during the burial of the late brothers to Mr. Chishimba Kamweli. So that is what has been discussed so far on the floor of the House. And just now we take a break.
As a way of bringing Parliament closer to the people, constituency officers often undertake various activities to ensure that people familiarize themselves with the function of a constituency office. It is against this background that on Friday 20th September 2024, Kanyama constituency held its first inter-school choral competition as a way of commemorating 100 years of the National Assembly of Zambia. Kanyama constituency is located 4.5 kilometers west of Lusaka Central Business District and within the proximity of industrial areas. 6 secondary schools are from Kanyama constituency, namely Kanyama Central Secondary School, Ahmadiyya Muslim School, Mayuni Secondary School, Tafimbwa Secondary School, Chinika Secondary School, Secondary School participated in the choral competition which was held at Chinika Secondary School. Out of the 6 schools that participated in the choral competition, Ahmadiyya Muslim Secondary School came out first, while Wayuni Secondary School came out second, and Tafimba Secondary School came out third. Speaking when he graced the event, Kanyama Constituency Member of Parliament Mr. Monty Chinkuli said that the constituency hosted the secondary school competition as a way of celebrating 100 years of the National Assembly of Zambia and as a way of bringing Parliament closer to the people.
Parliament is celebrating, the 100 years of existence, and for me, as a member of Parliament for Kanyama, having such activities, I think is a milestone in a sense that let us change the narrative, let us make sure people know what Parliament is all about. I don't think people understand that Parliament is their house. Because one, they send a representative who goes to sit in there and represent them. So I would want to see a situation where such activities, as we are meeting with the community, let us sensitize to them, let us tell them exactly what their rights are, what Parliament is, what is capable of doing, and who constitutes Parliament.
The Member of Parliament went ahead to encourage learners not to shy away from competitions as it helps enhance and grow their various talents.
For me, I would want to thank Madam Speaker for having, brought up, such an initiative where people